everyone. Welcome back to Joint Venture Marketing Mastery. I'm Andy Anderson. I'm so excited to have you with us back for this life and business changing event. And in this session, we're going to be diving into something really crucial for entrepreneurs. And this is how to create a product worthy of joint venture partners, right? This is obviously a very key piece to being a successful JV entrepreneur. And I am super excited about the leader who is going to share with us about this today. And that is the one, the only Dr. Joe Vitale. Well, hello, Joe.
Hello. Great to be here. Been looking forward to this.
Me too. Thanks so much for doing this. When I thought of you for this event, I'm like, who would be other best than Joe Vitale to talk about partnership, right?
That's flattering. Thank you. Thanks for thinking of me and thanks for having me here.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here. I want to share a little bit about who you are. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who you are, but I'll give a few more details on that. So I'm sure all of you know Joe, right? He is a prolific author. He is one of the world's top motivational speakers. He has many, many best-selling books. Some of those include The Attractor Factor, Attract Money Now, Zero Limits. His most latest releases are The Awakened Millionaire and The Miracle, 6 Steps to Enlightenment. Joe is also a popular star in several movies, of course, including AVAIYA's movies. So Leap, A Quantum Awakening, The Truth About Prosperity, and several of our other films. And of course, you probably know Joe from The Secret. Joe has also appeared as an expert on the law of attraction on, CNN, CNBC, CBS, ABC, Fox and Friends, Extra TV, and so many more. And actually, once homeless, Joe is today a model of prosperity. He believes in magic. He believes in miracles. And he has spent the last 4 decades learning how to truly master the skills that allow us as humanity, right? Humans to channel the pure creative energy of life without resistance. So, Joe, given that this online event is all about joint venture marketing, could you just start us off by sharing what is joint venture marketing to you?
Great question. I think we just want to look at the word itself, joint venture. The venture part of it means that you're doing some sort of business enterprise. There's some sort of adventure that you're doing. And the joint part means you're doing it with somebody else. And so the simple definition is you have a product or service that maybe you created with somebody else, which makes it a joint, but more importantly, that you are promoting through other people, and they are the joint partners in this. So there's many different ways of looking at it, but a joint venture is like you have a commissioned salesperson for you. You have somebody that goes out there and promotes your product or service for a commission. So they're jointly profiting in your venture. So I think those are in the ballpark of a solid definition and give people an idea of what it is. The good news about a joint venture, and this is the thing that I find so exciting, is that anybody can do it. You don't need previous skills. You don't need previous experience. You don't need previous education. You don't have to have done it before. Anybody from ground zero, from the kindergarten level, can learn how to do a joint venture and actually do it. I see them happen every day. I get involved with new people doing new ones all the time. So I think that's the thing we want to start with, is that a joint venture is some sort of business enterprise you're doing with somebody else, or somebody else is helping you promote it. And then the further good news is anybody can do it.
Right. Absolutely. It's so true. It's so flexible and there's so much possibility and opportunity within it. And I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun.
It is. Yeah.
A lot of fun to get to play with you off and on over the years, Joe, and all the amazing people that we all work with. It's just great stuff. Mm-hmm. So could you share a little bit about, do you have any particular favorite kinds of joint venture marketing that you like to participate in or lead?
Yeah, well, that's a great question too. First of all, anything can be a joint venture. Anything. I mean, you can have a live seminar, you can have a retail business, you can have an audio, you can have a video, you can have an animation, you can have books. I guess if there was anything that's a favorite for me, it's probably books, because I think of myself as an author before I think of anything else. Even though I'm not only an author, but I'm a speaker and I appear in movies, as you know, and I'm a musician and I do all kind of weird things like bend nails. I do strongman stuff. But I think when it comes down to it, I'm an author. I love to create products. Somebody counted recently and said, Joe, do you realize you've written 76 books?
Oh my.
No, I had no idea. But even that's wrong because I'm working on 5 books right now.
There
So 76 is going to morph into even more. But that's me. That's what I like to do. I think what people need to look at is what is fun for them? What is a passion for them? What is their strength? So if you don't like books for whatever reason, which I would think is insane, but if you like audio instead, then your product can be audio based. If you're not happy with audio, you're not happy with books, it can be video based. I think today you can do things like creating some sort of product out of animation. I don't even know that anybody's doing that yet, but it seems to me like here's a product idea. Take some sort of interest of yours and create a product that's animation based. So it can be a live seminar, it can be a retail thing, it can be anything. I think what I look for is, I look for a formula. I look for passion meeting the public in order to make a profit. So I guess those are 3 Ps. I'm making this up as we go here. The passion part of it is, I think we want to do what we're passionate about. I think that's a secret to success in life. It's a secret to joint venture marketing, is to find what are you personally interested in? What is your passion? And whatever that happens to be, then we start to look at how do you create a product out of it. And we can talk about that too as we go even deeper. But then I want to look at what is your passion? How do we turn it into a product? And what aspect of the public would be interested in that product? So if you have your passion turned into a product, and then you're going to go and reach a certain aspect of the public, which does not have to be a big market. It can be very niched. It can be very tight. But if they're also interested in your passion, then your product can be sold to them and you'll make a profit. And then, of course, you don't have to sell them direct. The whole idea of the joint venture is that you have other people who may have access to that same market do the promotion for you, and they get a percentage for doing it. So this is where joint venture is starting to unfold. And I already forgot what your original question was.
Man, what was it? I think it was like your favorite types of joint ventures, and you were talking about how relating it to books based on being an author. So
right. And then I ran down the street and I just took off with all these other side things.
Hey.
All of which are important. This is all part of what we're trying to get across here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I love that you start with passion. Obviously, it's a no-brainer. Yes. And I want to bring this up because I personally was very passionate about this and had so much fun last year when you did your birthday party. So this was, a very creative joint venture in my opinion. So last year around December, Joe was launching his book, The Miracle, and he had a very creative way of bringing a bunch of people together, partners together to promote the launch of his new book. Could you talk a little bit about how you did that?
Yeah, that's a great one. In fact, that site's still up, so I want to promote it just so people can go look at it to see an example of a joint venture. It's at themiraclebook.info, themiraclebook.info. And they can go there and see an example of what I did. And so when you go there, you'll see that what I'm trying to do is sell a book, my latest book, The Miracle, 6 Steps to Enlightenment. But I don't want to sell it by just me going out into the marketplace and saying, hey, I got another book, go buy it and all of that, which is fine. I mean, I'll sell some books that way. But I really believe in my book. This is the passion part. I really have that enthusiasm, that sincerity, that deep conviction that this book can make a difference. I want the miracle to get out there in a big way. So how do I do that? I alone can only reach so many people. But if I get an army to get behind me, now the book goes out there into the world and hits people that never heard of me. I'll be introduced to audiences that never heard the name Joe Vitale, let alone know about the book, The Miracle. So how do I do that? Well, the first thing I do is tap my family and friends. I start going to all the people that I've known before, including you, and I say, look, I'm doing this promotion. It's called The Miracle. I really believe in this book. It's coming out around Christmas, which is also around my birthday, which is December 29th. I was tying it all in together. And what I said was, if you can contribute something to my promotional efforts, I will add it to my promotion so that you get promotion as I get promotion. Mm-hmm. So in other words, if people go to themiraclebook.info, they'll see a long list of contributors and contributions. Why did these people do this? A, I'm asking them to mail for me. I'm saying, please go to your audience and tell them about my book. And if you give me something I can put on my page, everybody that promotes my book, including you and all the people you never heard of before and all of their audiences before, are now going to hear about you. Do you see how this works? Mm-hmm. What I'm creating is my favorite formula of all time. It's the win-win-win. win. Most people talk about win-win in business and don't even do it enough. It's win-lose is how most traditional business has been done in the past. What I look for is not just the win-win, but the win-win-win. Meaning I win, my book's being promoted, it's being sold, the miracle has got to go out there in the marketplace. The person helping me wins because they're also getting promoted by everybody else that's promoting my book. Mm-hmm. And then the customer wins because not only do they get the book that I think is my definitive book of all time, but they get all these bonuses. They get, the last I looked at the site, I think there's $6,300 worth of bonuses. Wow. If the customer will go buy one copy of my book for $20, they get $6,300 worth of bonuses. Where'd those bonuses come from? All the people I went to and said, will you do a joint venture with me? I will see that you win as well as I win, and the end customer is going to win because they'll hear about you, they'll hear about me, they'll get my book, and they'll hear about everybody else. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, but that's one of my favorite things to set up. Also, made the book a bestseller. The Miracle became a bestseller on Amazon in several categories. And in fact, the promotion kept going on. I never turned it off, which is why the website's still up. If anybody goes and buys the book, they can still get all those bonuses. So the book became a bestseller several times beyond that first push. So I get excited about it because there's so many elements of instruction, from creating a product out of passion. That was the Miracle. To lining up all of my allies, which is for the joint venture, and getting them to give to me, which ultimately, as we all promote it, makes the end customer win as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah,
that's a great way of looking at it, because then it's not, it's all encompassing, right? It really truly gets into the essence of us being one, right? Because okay, it's Joe, it's me and Ike. We're going to promote your book, and then we got all the customers that are going to buy it and have these, amazing breakthroughs in their life because of reading it, and all of that. I think that's so key. And another part that Ike and I found that was very enjoyable of your launch was your Facebook Live party, because that was quite a community event that we had a really good time.
So you're breaking up slightly. So
sorry.
If I'm breaking up or not. So I'll keep talking as long as somebody's listening.
Rolling. You sound fine.
All right. Well, the Facebook Live is a way of doing promotion, so it's probably worth mentioning in case somebody doesn't know what it is. First of all, I'm sure everybody knows what Facebook is because billions are on that thing at this point. But you can do Facebook Live, which is simply going into Facebook, pushing a couple of buttons that allow you to broadcast from within Facebook. And suddenly everybody that's on Facebook can watch you and see what you're doing. But what I did was slightly more than that. I used a software called Blue Jeans. And Blue Jeans is a wonderful tool. It allows you to do interviews with other people no matter where they're at. So you're doing the interviews online, and you can do as many as 16 at one time. And so what I did was line up all the people who were there supporting me for my birthday, and they came in and got to talk to me through the Blue Jeans software, through the app, and talk to me and wish me happy birthday, and we plugged the Miracle and so forth. But this Blue Jeans enables it to also be broadcast live on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So am I explaining this well? Because it seems slightly complicated. Facebook alone, when you do the live broadcast, doesn't allow you, that I'm aware of, to do split screen interviews. But with Blue Jeans, you can do split screen interviews and actually have 16 people, almost like the Brady Bunch kind of a design. You can see all the little boxes and all the people are there. And then I can pick one and I interview them. But the point is, through Blue Jeans, I'm able to do the Facebook Live, and that interview goes live over Facebook. Then, of course, I'm recording it. I post it on Facebook, and it's probably still there now under my Facebook fan page, which I think is Dr. Dr. Joe Vitale. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's part of what we did, and that's part of what's available to people.
Absolutely. And it was a really creative, I really thought it was a creative way to get, not only obviously you're working with all your joint venture partners, and that it was so much fun to be able to be there and wish you a happy birthday, and then, see Mike Dooley on the screen next to us, and Emma Lee over here, and, everybody, Steve G. Jones, and, so many different people on at
And
different times.
And it was the greatest birthday party for me because when it was over, I had nothing to clean up.
Right. See, we were throwing our confetti from our end of the Facebook Live. So yes. Awesome. Well, let's dive into product creation a little bit here. Obviously, that's what we're aiming on talking about on this interview today. So could you talk a little bit about how does one even really get started creating a product from scratch?
It is so freaking easy. It is so easy. I tell people, first of all, I can give you different levels of doing this, but I'm going to start with what I think is one of the no-brainer, lazy person's way to creating your first joint venture product. And it would begin with, what are you interested in? What are you interested in? For example, I held up a nail because I was doing the strongman training and I bent this and I bent horseshoes and steel bars and this. And I'm a newbie to this. But if I wanted to create a product that I would sell online through a joint venture, I'd begin with, what am I interested in? Well, I might go, I'm interested in strongman, and there's a lot of strong women. It's still called strongman training, but there's a lot of women doing it too. And I'd go, yeah, that's right, exactly. Look at those muscles. And I'd look at, okay, I want to create a course on how anybody can learn strongman feats of strength. And these can be done for fitness, that can be done for showing off, bar bets, any number of things. I'm just making up a product as we go based on my interest. So my interest is in strongman training. I want to know how do you bend nails? How do you bend bars? What are the techniques? I know there are no tricks at this point because I've been deep enough into it, but I know there's techniques. So the very first thing I would do is decide I want to create that product. And then I would go, how do I create the product? I would make a list of the strong men and the strong women that are already out there that have some sort of following. Dennis Rogers is one of the most famous ones. He's considered the world's strongest man. So Dennis Rogers would be on the list. Iron Tamer David Whitley is another person that I personally met and know who does this kind of stuff. Adam Glass is another person. There's a woman in California, Melody, I can't think of her last name right now. So I would make a list of these people who are doing strongman training. Then I would contact each one of them and say, look, I'm creating a product that's going to be called Strongman Feats of Strength, for lack of a better term right now. And we'll look at titles in a minute. And then I would say, can I interview you over the phone or over Skype or over Zoom or over Blue Jeans or in person, whatever's easy. And it can be audio or it can be video. And let me ask you 10 questions. How do you bend the bars? How do you train for this? How does this help you with mind power? How does it help you with your physical power? What are the side benefits? I come up with a half a dozen or so questions. And then after I would get those 10 or so experts, and I would make appointments to interview all of them, I would do the interviews, probably like this, over Zoom. Mm-hmm. I'd record all of them. Then when I'm done, guess what? I've got my product. Those 10 interviews, or 5 interviews, or 7, depending on how many people actually agreed, is now my product. I want to call it something engaging, some sort of benefit-oriented title, and I want to package it. And then what do? I will go back to all those people and say, look, I created a course, and you're part of it. Will you help me promote it? In other words, will you be a joint venture partner for this? Because they're part of it, they'll almost certainly say with 100% of an answer of a yes, that they'll promote it. You now have 10 different salespeople, or 7, depending on how many you interview, that's going to go out there and promote this to their own audiences. These are your salespeople. These are your joint venture partners, and they were the same people who helped you create your product from nothing. And you can take this and apply it to anything. In case strongman feats of strength doesn't mean anything to you, think about what you're interested in. And it could be gardening. It could be quilting. Quilting's huge. There's a giant market for people interested in quilting as well as in gardening. I'm also a magician. I would be, if I wanted to know something like, how do I learn kitchen table magic tricks? Or bar stool magic tricks, the kind of things that you would do one-on-one, maybe on a date, maybe to impress somebody. I don't know. But what I would do is make a list. Who are the 10 noteworthy magicians that are out there? And I would contact them. And it's important to realize, don't be intimidated by contacting any of these experts. Because the rule of thumb is, first of all, everybody's online. You can reach them through their website. There's always a contact information there. You might hit them direct. You might hit a manager or a representative or an agent, but you can reach anybody who's alive. I've done this so many times, it's ridiculous. It is so easy to do. And then the second thing to consider is that people want to help. Even the most successful always reach down and will help somebody who is sincere, who is flattering, who is trying to make a difference in their life and by extension in other people's lives. It has been very rare in my career for somebody to say no. And when they have said no, it's usually because they were just freaking too busy. Mm-hmm. They had no time to actually help you. It was nothing personal. So all of this is around the idea of how to create a product.
Well, I got the chills at the end there, Joe, because I see you as one of those people who is 100% so amazing and willing to help other people, no matter really what level they're on in the game of entrepreneurship and all of that, and how much you've helped us over the years. And how, it's kind of interesting because your name comes up so many times, even when I'm interviewing other people or when Ike and I are having conversations, or talking with other people, your name comes up all the time. And it's obvious why, because of how much you've helped us and how much you continue to help the world. And we just love you.
Thank you. Wow. I'll take that in. Thank you. I accept.
Yeah. And I love that you brought in, we're talking about product creation here, and it's something that you can later joint venture with the people that are actually included in it to market it to the world and create that win-win-win. So I love that you brought that out there, because it's easy. And think about how much fun it is to be able to do it with so many people, because I think a lot of people might have a hard time doing it just on their own if they don't have anybody else involved. Sometimes it's hard to get it out there. But obviously when you got 10 other people and you're like, okay, I'm going to launch it on this day and interview all of you and put together this great product, it's pretty extraordinary.
Well, let me tell you a quick story about one of the joint venture products I did 10 years ago that is still being sold today. So 10 years ago, and it might have been longer than that, but about 10 years ago, I wanted to do a course on how to attract a new car. I'm into cars. I was starting to attract them way back then and getting into exotic cars. And the movie The Secret came out, and a lot of people were interested in the law of attraction, and they wanted to know the practical use of the law of attraction. They wanted to attract things that they can actually show off, that can actually were concrete, that were physical. And I thought, well, what if I teach them how to attract a new car? So I announced that I was going to do, and I think it was 5 phone calls, because this was before video became really easy. And phone calls are simple. Pick up the phone and use a recording service and you can get the interviews done. So I decided that I was going to do a course on attract a new car. I already knew that there was an audience for it because of The Secret, people interested in the law of attraction and my own fan base. But I also thought, I don't want to be the only one talking for 5 phone calls. I don't know it all. And I was curious about what other people might know that they would share. So I went to 5 different experts. One was a hypnotist, and I even forget who it was at this point. And there was 2 or 3 other people that were all experts in different fields. I got on the phone with them, and I talked to them about how do you attract a new car? How do you program your mind? How do you use the law of attraction? We went through all of this. Of course, I recorded all of these calls. And then I announced that I was selling them online. The website's still up. I think it's attractanewcar.com. So if somebody wants to study what I was doing, go to attractanewcar.com and review the website there. Because the website still sells that program today, 10 years later. Mm-hmm. And so what I did way back then is I had the recorded calls. I put up that website. I added some bonuses, meaning that when people go and buy the program, they're going to get some freebies that weren't even in the original package. And at that point, I put it on ClickBank, which is one of the great services out there where you can buy and sell digital products there. You can sell other people's and be an affiliate for it, which is a version of joint venture marketing. Or you can also do just your own or sell your own there and have other people sell it for you. Anyway, I put it on ClickBank, and originally I sold it for $100. And I sold it for $100 for about 5 years. And it became one of the best sellers on ClickBank. It just became so popular. More and more people were rushing to it. More and more JVs were happening. Other affiliates were seeing it and promoting it for me. And so they're promoting the audiences I never reached by myself and never heard of me. And then after 5 years, I thought, well, maybe I should just lower the price. And I lowered it to $19.95, which is what I think it is today. And it's still selling. So this is an example of I had an interest in creating a product, but knew I didn't want to do it all by myself. So I reached out to the experts, which again, they all said yes to it. And then the experts also became JVs. They also became affiliates. They promoted that product because they were in it and liked it. And so that went to their audiences. And then today it's still cooking.
Yeah, I think we actually have some affiliate links through ClickBank of that actual program on our site on a couple different blog posts and stuff.
Oh,
so.
nice.
There it is. Yeah, and I love that you mentioned ClickBank because that's obviously a great resource for everybody watching and listening today in order to get into this game of affiliate marketing, joint venture marketing, all that kind of stuff, whether you have your own product that you want to have up on that as a product for other people to sell and promote for you, or vice versa. Obviously, if you want to promote other people's things, it's a great platform for sure. So could you talk a little bit about titles? How do you make a good title when you create a product?
Boy, how much time do we have?
I know, right? We're even winding down here.
Well, that is titles of products, titles of books can make or break your sales. There are so many stories about this. Back in the 1930s, when Dale Carnegie came out with a book, they wanted to title it something like How to Be Successful in Business, which is a good title. That's actually pretty good. But when they were experimenting, which is what good marketers do, they experiment with titles to find out which title has the zing, which title actually resonates with people, which title, more importantly, gets them to buy. And so they experimented with different titles, and the title that actually won, that keeps that book in print today, which sold millions of copies, is How to Win Friends and Influence People. When Napoleon Hill was coming out with his famous book, Think and Grow Rich, the original title was something about making money while you sleep, which is still good. Making money while you sleep is good, but you want the best. And when they came up with Think and Grow Rich, that book has sold, 37 million copies. It is still selling like crazy now. So what we want to do is really focus on a title. As a copywriter, which is what I am, I wrote books like Hypnotic Writing and Buying Trances and the AMA Complete Guide to Small Business Advertising. I got a lot of material in the marketing world. You want to look at titles that do promise a benefit. How-to titles like How to Do Feats of Strength might be interesting for the strongman one. How to Perform at Dinner Parties might be interesting for the magic one. I like titles that create curiosity, that are provoking, that make people want to lean forward. I like titles that are specific. How to Attract a New Car. I mean, there it is. That's saying exactly what it is. You have the how-to there, but you also have the specific. How to Attract a New Car. My book, The Miracle, it was titled that way because more and more people are looking for the miracle, especially these times when it seems like there's high stress and high chaos and the future seems uncertain. And so what we look for is the miracle. Well, I took that as my lead and I wrote a book called The Miracle. I also work on subtitles. With the book, The Miracle, the subtitle is 6 Steps to Enlightenment, or The 6 Steps to Enlightenment. So when you create a product, you want a title that really makes your target market sit up and take notice. You don't want everybody to take notice. That's what everybody thinks they want. But not everybody is actually your market. You want a niche market. You want to know who are the people interested in strongman training? Who are the people interested in magic? Who are the people interested in business success and how to win friends and influence people? So you want to think of the market and what they're looking for. And that may be how to grow the biggest tomatoes in your garden is what they actually want. Well, that's your title then. How to Grow the Biggest Tomatoes in your Garden is the title. And there might be a subtitle that explains it more deeply. I like things that have steps in them, like the 3 secret steps. I like the word secret. The 3 secret steps to growing the biggest tomatoes naturally. And now we're starting to go in the direction of something that sounds really interesting. So I want to give one more tip because I'm excited about this. I like to come up with the title before the product. I like to come up with a title that I think to myself, oh, if I can fulfill that, I will become a millionaire from this product alone. And it's important to come up with a title that might even seem outrageous. It might even seem impossible because it will expand your mind. You will start thinking of, okay, I got this crazy inspired, impossible, outrageous title. How can I make it actually fit the product? Or how can I make the product actually fit that title? And so now you start to create a product to fulfill that wild benefit. And if for some reason you actually don't do it, then change the title a little bit, massage it a little bit. But what I have found is a great title is like having a great intention in your life. It juices up your brain, and your brain goes on alert to find ways to actually create the product to fulfill the title. Mm-hmm. So I like people to think of, what do I need to title this thing that makes it impossible for people not to buy it? For my target audience, they really want this. How can I title this so they will give me the money for it? And then the second part is, how do I actually create the product to fulfill it? And you might not know yourself, but this goes back to getting those experts, calling people up, doing the interviews, and let them tell you how to do it. Anyway, it's all exciting.
It's always exciting. I love it. I love all this stuff. And I love hearing it from you because I know how much you create. You're constantly creating, and you know how many things obviously 76 books plus 5 in progress, you're on fire and creating. I love it.
Yeah, I'm having a blast.
Here's another great thing for people to get is they can take a product and they can repackage it. And I think a lot of people miss that. I need to create something totally new or different or whatever, but you can package products together or multiple things or bundle things. Can you talk a little bit about the benefits of repackaging something you've already created?
Yeah, that's one of the easiest things in the world to do, because you take whatever you created, we'll say it's a book right now, and the very next thing you would do is create the audio of the book. You're not creating a new product in terms of the source, you're creating a new format for the product. So if you came out with a book, because, for example, for me, that was easy to do, the next step is just record the book. That's it. And if you don't want to record it, pay somebody to read it for you. The third level of this is you might create some sort of video of the book or of the audio. You could create some sort of animation. I keep going back to that because I think it might be the next step for a lot of people, including the people watching. And so it might be a leading edge thing, is to create an actual animation. You can also create a live event based on your product. For example, I wrote a book called Attract Money Now, and it's free. People can go get it at attractmoneynow.com. But a little later, I created an event based on the book. And I had live speakers come in. I was there, and it was called Attract Money Now Live. And we filmed all of this. So here I had a book, which I also did make into an audio program. But then I thought, well, let me take it live and videotape that. And now it becomes a bigger product and a more expensive, meaning more profitable. I can sell it for a higher ticket. So it's a more profitable product. But that started with a book. So if you keep thinking of how can I repackage this, unless you do a live seminar like I described, there isn't a whole lot more work or a whole lot more expense. All you're doing is taking what's already done and just changing the format of it and the deliverability of it. Even with the book, Attract Money Now, I sell it as a hardcover book. I sell it as an audio download. I give away the ebook version of it. So what is that? 3 different versions of it right there. But it's the same product. So thinking in terms of how can I repackage, how can I retarget this in some way, I think those are smart things to do than anybody.
Yeah, no, I love that you mentioned that. So quick question, when you do something like that, when you take a product and then you extrapolate out in all the different ways that you can create different products from this one product that started off as a book or whatever, then are you pushing it out to like multiple different distribution points for selling? Is it just on your site, ClickBank? How do you do that?
Well, I'm still in love with joint ventures, which I think is, the key in our topic here. And so I want other people to do it when at all possible. Yes, I'm going to promote things myself. I am a marketer. I am an entrepreneur. I do know that if I don't tout my own stuff, nobody is probably going to do it. So I put up my own website. The main website for me is mrfire.com, mrfire.com. And that's a portal to everything I do. But if people go there, there is a tendency to be overwhelmed. They can drown with all of the options and all of the choices and all of the books and the audios and 16 albums and more coming music-wise and Miracles Coaching. I mean, it's all listed there. So if I find people that can take one of the products and promote it to their list. Now I'm back in the joint venture world, and now I have that single focus where they can take Attract Money Now live and sell it and make money from it. And I'm also making money, of course, because I'm getting a percentage of that. So I'm doing all of it. I still promote it myself, but I'm also looking for other people. Maybe they specialize in audio, maybe they specialize in video, maybe they really want hardcover, maybe they really want ebooks, and whatever it is that is their focus or their preference, I'll say I have a version of that. Why don't you take it to your list as a JV partner with me?
Mm-hmm. I love it. So since you've mentioned this a couple times, I want to actually let everybody know that this Attract Money Live is something that Joe is giving away as a special offer today. And there's a button below this video that takes you over to his site where you can check that out. So can you tell us a little bit more detail about what that is and how much it is?
Well, it was a spectacular live event with some of the greatest speakers of all time. Some of the speakers were heroes of mine and are heroes of mine. Bill Phillips is the Body for Life legendary fitness guy, and he's a friend of mine now, but boy, did he influence me 10 years ago. I went in his Body for Life fitness program and finished it 5 different times. I got honorable mentions. I got 3 medals. I mean, this was life-changing, and he came and spoke at the event. And Dee Wallace is a famous actress. Most people know her because she played the mother in the famous movie E.T. Mm-hmm. She's a very spiritual person, and she gave a presentation at this event that floored me and everybody there. She was so theatrical, and she was talking about money and beliefs about money, but she dramatized it in such a way that we realized, man, we don't have a relationship with money. And other speakers, including myself, were all focused on what are your beliefs about money? How do you turn your passion into a product? I had people talk about joint venture marketing, product creation, masterminding, which is when 2 or 3 people get together and they're all focused on pooling their resources and energy. All of these speakers, all of these performances, everything was videotaped. And so we put it all online. It's Attract Money Now Live is the name of the whole program. People spent, well, between their travel and everything else, probably $1,000 each to be there. But because this is online, because we got a special offer going for your viewers, and because I love you, we've lowered it all the way down to, I think it's $97. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? Do you know that?
You're right. Yep.
Yeah. So this is a one-time offer, though. I mean, because I can make more money selling it for a lot more off this program. But right now, what we're doing is a type of joint venture. This is demonstrating the whole process. I got a product. It was based on my passion. A bunch of people paid a lot of money for it, but you can actually sit there at your home office, computer, wherever you're at now, and watch the whole thing. And this is life-changing. This material was so fantastic. My opening presentation and my ending presentations alone, I think, are worth it. But there were other speakers there, like Bill Phillips, like Dee Wallace, like Mindy Odland, like Chuck Pennington. These people were talking about specific things you need to know to attract money into your life. So
I love it. Well, thank you so much for that generosity. And I love it's all coming together and piecing together. I love that your whole topic was talking about creating obviously joint products that joint venture partners would want to promote. And then you're talking about how you create those products and oftentimes ask other people to be a part of them and ask them to promote them. And now the product that you're offering everybody happens to be one of those products. Right. It all pieces together. So thanks so much. Yeah, everybody take a look at the button below this video or the audio, depending on if you're watching it or listening just to the audio right now, and head on over to Joe's site. So yeah, super great discount from Joe today at $97. And thank you so much. And Dee Wallace is absolutely extraordinary. I 100% agree. I loved obviously seeing her way back when I was a child of the 80s in Cujo and E.T. and all these things. And she was actually on our Truth About Prosperity online conference a while back, which you were on too. So it was amazing to connect with her there.
Right. Great stuff.
Yeah. Well, Joe, we need to wrap up here. So are there any last insights that you want to share with everyone about joint venture partnerships or anything coming to you right now?
I have seen complete newbies, people who are new to a computer, people who are new to the internet, come up with an idea and nervously, because they didn't know it was actually going to work, but come up with an idea and reach out to people like me, to people that they had never thought they'd even get an answer to, and interview them, create a package, and then sell it online and start to make money doing JV relationships. So anybody can do this. I don't care who you are, where you are. If you got your computer and you're able to watch this now and participate in this, you can do this too. So you have to believe in yourself, and you got to start somewhere. I did an online course with David Mamet a while back. He's a famous playwright, won the Pulitzer Prize. He wrote the movie The Untouchables. I've always regarded him as a genius. And he said that most people are afraid to start because they're afraid to be bad before they can be good. And his message is, yeah, your first attempt might be awkward. Your first attempt might be nervous-based. Your first attempt might not be the biggest seller for you of all time. But you got to start someplace. So start now. Take your thread of an idea, your seed of an idea, develop it. Get some people to support you. Interview some experts. Then get them to help be a JV for it. You can do this. That's my big takeaway. You can do this too.
You absolutely can. Thank you so much, Joe. I love it. Thank you for being here. And all right, everybody, that is a wrap. And let's build a fortune together.
All right.